Hi guys, and welcome to my video here for the Barclays Premier League Team of the Season predictions video for FIFA 15. You're watching Red Devil Gamer, and this is my debut video on this channel. So if we could hit 50 likes and 20 subscribers, that would be fantastic. And without any further ado, let's move on with the video. I've included a first 11, a substitutes bench, and also some reserves here. I've looked around YouTube and to check out the competitions videos, and what I noticed was not then they've a lot of people have gone for players just by name, not necessarily some of the players that actually deserve to be in there, and not maybe also given some the good reasons as to why some of the players have got in there. A lot of them have just got in there by default. But I'm going to go through my picks, and feel free to leave any comments. Tell me if you agree or disagree with what I've selected. Also, the card ratings and the stats that I've provided are only an estimate, only based on the last inform that's been issued for them this year, and also previous Team of the Season boosts. So don't get too leery if you think my stats are off or the card ratings too low or too high. This is just a bit of fun after all. But enjoy looking at the cards. I'll let you guys look at the stats while I explain why I've included the players. And without any further ado, let's move on. So first we have got in goal David De Gea. It was a choice of 1 out of 2 between De Gea or Courtois. But I suppose when you're looking at a goalkeeper, you have to look at what's in front of the goalkeeper. And United's defence has not been consistent at all this season. United's had Evans, Rojo, Smalling, Jones, Rafael, Valencia, Smalling, Shaw, Blind at left back as well. So the only consistent factor in that defence has been De Gea, and he's saved us matches and points single-handedly on numerous occasions. The Liverpool game was the worst one. I mean, Sterling could have had a hat-trick in the first half, but this guy, won us all 3 points that day, and has won us several points throughout the season with his displays. Despite that, if you look at United's defensive record this season, it's not that bad, and it's mainly due to that man there. So I thought I had to pick him. I am a United fan as well, but Courtois had a great season as well back at Chelsea. But he's got John Terry, who's a legend in front of him, Cahill, who's a good defender, and he's had Zuma in there at times as well. So based on what he's had in front of him, it had to be David De Gea. Now, moving on to the left-back position, we have got Ryan Bertrand. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, where's Baines, Azpilicueta? There's some other choices for left-back. But once again, you have to look who you're playing with, and Southampton have been up near the top 4 all season. They've got one of the best defences in the league for a side that's not even in the top 4, and the reason for that is they have had a very good defensive unit, a consistent defensive unit, and Ryan Bertrand has been a consistent part of that, and so therefore I think he's been the most consistent, and I didn't want to give it to someone else just based on their name, so I've gone for Bertrand. Moving on to the centre-back positions, we have got Lauren Koscielny. Now, hasn't had the greatest of seasons for Arsenal this year. He's been injured quite a bit. But what you can say is, as soon as this guy comes back into the Arsenal team, straight away they're a much better defensive unit. That their results improve when he's in there. They look more assured about what's going on defensively. They're not all over the place. He gives them a bit of organisation. I think when it's Mertesacker and somebody else, there's just not quite that air of confidence. They don't flow freely going forward when they've got a disjointed defence back there. So you have to give credit where credit's due, and I know I said I wasn't really going to talk about stats, but my gosh, if you look at that 86 pace on a centre back, 89 defence, and 84 physical, if he gets those, he'll be an absolute monster to come up against. You won't be running past him that easily. Second, we've got another Southampton defender, which is Jose Font. Once again, there's a lot of centre backs that I could have picked ahead of this guy in the starting 11. People say, "Oh, John Terry's had a really good season." Yes, he has. Cahill. There's some other defenders I could have picked, but once again, like I said, Southampton, they haven't got this great defensive record for no reason. It's not an accident. A good defensive unit, and I thought he's had a really, very good season, and he deserves to get in there, rather than somebody else that I could have just picked for the ease of name. And then moving on to the right back position, once again, it's becoming a bit of a familiar theme this, but we've got Nathaniel Klein at right back, also from Southampton. Once again, I don't really need to say much more. He's part of that defensive back line for Southampton that's done so well all year. And, it's not a one-man army back there. It's literally the whole defence has come together to turn in the sort of defensive performances that they have. So Klein's been good for the last couple of years. There'll be a lot of clubs looking to snap him up in the summer. Um, I hope it's us. As much as I don't want to see Raphael not get a place, but I hope that we put a bid in for him. He's good young English talent, and I'm sure the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, City will all come sniffing around him in the summer. Obviously, Southampton fans will be hoping that you can keep, the core of your defence together, because they're one of the reasons that you've done so well in the table this year. But that remains to be seen. Now, moving on, we're going to go to the left wing position, which is Christian Eriksen. Now, like myself, I'm sure a lot of you watching this video would probably prefer that he was at cam, due to his passing ability, his shooting ability, his dribbling, and that's where I prefer him to be as well. But he has played out on the left for most of the season, according to stats and also what FIFA think as well, what EA think. So I'm probably pretty sure he's going to be a left wing. He hasn't got the worst pace in the world for a winger. I mean, you like your wingers and your wide forwards to have about 88, 89, 90 plus pace, just so they can really bomb down those wings. But on a technical ability, if you can get him out wide and slinging some crosses or some nice over-the-top through balls, he's not going to let you down. So an absolute tank of a card, and he deserves to be there. He's got numerous assists this year and tons of last-minute goals. I mean, Tottenham probably would have been another 20 points worse off if it wasn't for this guy scoring last-minute.coms. So he's in there too. Moving on to the midfield positions, we have got Cesc Fabregas straight back into the Premier League like he never left. Arsenal must be kicking themselves that they didn't, go back and put a bid in and try and lure him back. I'm sick that we didn't try and put a bid in for him. As much as I'm pleased with Juan Mata and Ander Herrera, and dare I say it, Marouane Fellaini's even produced this season as well. I mean, where would you have put him if we had got him? That's the question. But he's still a great player. Come back in. He's got the most assists in the league. Couple of goals there as well. And I'm sure for the remainder of his contract at Chelsea, he'll continue to produce the goods. And then next to him in midfield, we have got Nemanja Matic, who is the linchpin of the Chelsea side. He's the guy that allows Fabregas to go forward and play and look for those killer passes. He's been such a rock for Chelsea. And, I mean, just look at some of those stats that, as a CDM, the guy is an absolute tank. Every time you get past Chelsea's midfield and you think you're going to get onto their back four, 9 times out of 10, this guy pops up with an interception. Not only can he intercept it and pick up the ball and win the ball, but he's able to get his head up and pick a good forward-thinking pass as well. And there's not too many CDMs in the game that can both win the ball and then also start transitioning that into the attack phase. So that's why I've gone for Matic there. And then onto the right wing, I think there was only ever going to be one choice here, and that's Alexis Sanchez. Probably one of the best debut seasons for a player in the Premier League I can think of in recent memory. I mean, he's come straight to the league. He's taken the Premier League by storm. I mean, he did well at Barcelona. He did well when he was in the Italian leagues as well. But I think it was unprecedented, sort of just how easily he would adapt to the Premier League. He's not overly big in size, but he's just got great balance, great agility. His mind seems to be one step ahead of the defender, and you don't know which way he's going to go. He could go left, right. He could pass it, shoot, dribble. The guy's got the lot, and Arsenal did very, very well to secure his services. I'm sure a lot of Arsenal fans will be putting him as their player of the season, no doubt. Moving on into the first striker position. This, without a question, is probably going to be the card that I'm most looking forward to using this year on Ultimate Team when it gets released. I don't think anybody, not even Tottenham fans who've watched a guy maybe at youth level, could have predicted that he would do this well this year in the Premier League. I don't know what it is. He's just got an uncanny knack for finding the back of the net and finishing the chances he's created, which, once again, if you consider that Tottenham haven't exactly played fantastically this year, and he's joint top, if not the top scorer now in the Barclays Premier League, and may well win the Golden Boot ahead of Diego Costa, that's an incredible feat considering Harry Kane was a relative unknown in comparison, and Diego Costa was bought for 30 plus £million, and the guy's given him a run for his money. And he's 6'2". He's strong. He's not that slow for a guy that's 6'2". I mean, just look at the stats on those cards. I mean, that's quite a big boost I've given him there. But I mean, if they release the card anywhere near those stats, some defences better be scared, because they're going to get torn a new one. And then moving on to the second striker position, it had to be obviously this man, Diego Costa. He did cost Chelsea a fair bit of money, but you get what you pay for in this game. And the guy's come to the Premier League. He's not let anyone down in adapting to the Premier League. Same as Aguero, really. When Aguero first came to the Premier League, everyone thought, can he come straight over from the Spanish game and adapt? And he answers his question with his goal tally. I mean, by the 10th or 15th game of this season, I think everyone was thinking, oh dear, everyone's made a mistake in not trying to get this guy, because the number of goals he'd scored after the first 10, 15 was incredible. Slowed off a bit in the second half of the season, picked up a couple of injuries, but no doubt very consistent, and I'm sure he's going to grab a few more goals before the season's out. We've only got about 5 weeks left now, but well, probably about 5 weeks. But I'm sure he's going to get a few more goals for Chelsea. And now we move on to the substitutes.